Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about something unusual. I would say this is a quite special kit because it comes from a fantasy world. It's a Hasegawa release in 1/20th scale. Frankly speaking, I even forgot that it had the scale. It's written here. And we actually have here the Altair Machine & Krieger robot, and as you can see, it's actually written here that it's a space type humanoid unmanned interceptor grosser hund, and we have a commercial sample which was bought with your help. I think it will be interesting for you as well to check what is actually included in this kit and why it might be an interesting build to take a break from all these typical subjects which we are used to see in various scale. So, first of all, we can see that the box art is an actual painting, it's not a 3D image, and box size is not that huge, but it's quite, I would say, heavy for its size, and it's a top opening box. But first of all, on the side here we have some safety devices. By the way, the kit number is 64105. And on the opposite side you will find some information about the kit, short history note about the conflict and this vehicle, and I can see that there are 188 pieces, and assembled model will be 153 millimeters long, so it's not that huge build, but still should be interesting to assemble. So as I said, top opening box, and here's what we have inside. And by the way, another notable feature about this kit, as you can see, we have more information on the sides of this, would say, internal box, but it's nothing significant. And sprues, they are separated into several plastic bags. I guess it depends on the version you choose, because it's not a secret if you follow this series, they have different versions of this grosser hund. So I have this Altair version, but I guess other types, they employ different parts, and the choice depends on the version you pick for your build. Okay, so just give me a second to cut through first plastic bag and we will take a closer look together. And I can see that overall molding quality is somewhat typical for Hasegawa. In case you had some experience with their kits, you will not be surprised here. So first of all, here for example you can see the clear sprue. It looks really good, but obviously there are no masks included, so in case you would like to have a, let's say, proper paint work, then you have to get your own masks or cut your own stickers in order to have everything properly aligned and painted. Next we continue with the first, I wouldn't call it white plastic sprue, because as you can see it's more of a light gray maybe, or off-white. But here we have two halves for the main body of this robot. We also have various internal components, which I'm not sure if they will be visible on the finished build, but here you can take a closer look. Maybe I will reduce the ISO so that it won't be that bright for you. And now you can check that molding quality is really good. It's not a completely new kit, but you can see that all parts are designed in a clever way, because we have all the guiding elements necessary in order to properly align them together, and that's especially useful for such large pieces. So I'm glad to see it. Next we continue with a gray plastic sprue, which is dedicated only to the internal components. I guess these are joints which will make the hands and legs movable, but we will see in assembly manual, because I'm not sure how it will work with this kit. Next we continue with a small plastic bag and some vinyl piping. So this tube will be handy in order to replicate various wiring on your robot, but that's not all, because we also have a bit larger, let's say, rubber sprue, which is dedicated again to various pipes. And in my opinion this is a cool thing, because it will add some fine features to your robot. Just be sure to properly install it on your model, because obviously these parts can be fixed in place with help of CA glue, or maybe with white glue. Actually, I haven't tried it, so feel free to write in the comment section because it will be interesting to hear your experience. Now I need to close the lenses back because we are dealing again with the off-white part. Here we have again main parts. Note that some hatches are molded separately, so I guess they can be opened. And also we have some internal components as well. And if I flip it over, inside we have some guiding elements. I think it's really difficult to miss such large guiding pins, so it won't be a problem to get everything into the right position and aligned together. But the only thing maybe worth, I would say, suggesting is that you have to plan properly how you would like to build this model, because otherwise it will be a hell. And I mean, you will have to repeat the same procedures again and again. And I'm mentioning this because I'm opening the next plastic bag, and here we have slightly different stuff. So here we have various parts for hands and legs of this robot, and as you can see, some of them should be glued out of two parts, so be conscious of the possible gaps between them. Even if you glue it carefully, I mean, it will be difficult to avoid a unnecessary seam, so you'll have to sand it somehow. But I can see that some parts are molded as one-piece parts. On the next sprue, we continue with various nuts which will be used for this robot. Note that some of them are pre-molded. We have several types, so basically you have just to cut it off with a knife and then pick it for your robot. It might be a bit tricky, but still it has place to be, and obviously you don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it will add some fine features to your robot. Next we continue with two identical plastic sprues as far as you can see, so I will show you only one because they carry the same set of parts. Here we have parts for the legs. So these are the feet, which should be assembled out of two halves. You also add some vinyl wiring here. Here we have engine nozzles, which are nicely molded as a single piece part. That's really great because it will help you avoid any unnecessary gaps in such visible area. And here we have this, let's say, wings, which will be installed on the back of this robot. Here you can take a closer look from the opposite side. So we have guiding elements again. There is nothing to worry about. Next, just give me a second to place it aside. So as I said, next we continue with more parts for external features. This is, by the way, the head panel as far as you can see, so it will be upgraded with clear parts as well. Here you can take a closer look. And we also have various, I would say, anatomical parts. As you can see, actuators, dampeners, and other parts which will be used here and there. So be sure to follow carefully the assembly manual, which we'll check a bit later, because there you actually get the idea on what you have to do. I guess these are the parts, the, let's say, soil for the legs, for feet, and here we have some one-piece panels which maybe will help you to hide the possible gaps in this area. Here we have the handgun, which will be placed instead of one of the arms. And again, it should be glued out of two halves. We have guiding elements inside, so nothing unusual. And two identical plastic sprues as the last, so I will show you only one. Here we have more parts for various sections of this robot. They should be, not could be, but they should be glued out of two halves. Again, if I flip it over, inside you will find guiding elements which are quite thick, so I really doubt that you will miss any possible steps here. But that's not all. Next we continue with assembly manual on the bottom, but first of all I would like to show you decals. I can see that they're printed in Japan. I guess they were printed by Hasegawa themselves, but here we have full number registry, which is rather surprising, I would say. We have also various, well, let's call it arts, which can be placed on the robot. Of course, this looks really badass, but I mean, you can also choose this mushroom or this cross or something else. I mean, you can paint something your own. This is a sci-fi subject, so you're, I would say, basically free, unless you're following the original series and would like to keep it up to the prototype. And why I'm a bit confused, because marking guide it is supplied in a quite special form. As you can see, it's a cardboard printed, and we have 4 marking options here. They're quite colorful, and I think you will definitely pick one for your build. Note that this yellow accents, they should make the whole painting a bit less uniform. Next, we continue with assembly manual. So this one is printed in typical Hasegawa style. So it's a large black and white, I would say black and gray brochure, but here we have all the necessary instructions on how to build this Grosserhund. So first of all, you have some safety advices, and next we continue with the parts map. As far as you can see, all the parts should be used. There are just few sections which are marked with the dark gray, and that's pretty much all. So assembly process starts with feet, and straight away we are working with this vinyl tubes, so be ready for that. As you can see, yes, these gray parts, they will be used in order to house the joints and make the parts movable. Next, we continue with assembling this leg together with the lower sections of the robot. And this is quite interesting design, to be frank. Here you can see lower body assembly. That means connecting 2 legs together and then proceeding with the body assembly. So here you actually work with quite large parts. There is nothing to worry about. And then we start working on the arms. So as you can see, one of the arms has the separate fingers, which is also quite funny. Maybe you can employ it for some diorama ideas. Next, we continue with, I can see, right upper arm and also opposite side. So here you have to follow the sequence. As you can see, we have first step and the second step. Otherwise it will be a bit tricky to combine them together. Next, we continue with the head assembly. So here again you have to combine a lot of parts together, and then I would say it's quite surprising to see that many parts being combined in a head section. Frankly speaking, I was expecting less. Next, we continue with the shoulder assembly, and then we start joining everything together. And note that the rear hatch, it can be open. Then you will expose the internals in this robot, which might be a good opportunity to play with some diorama ideas, maybe fixing or breaking this robot. And on the final steps, you also add some vinyl tubes for arms. And here we have some final steps. It's final assembly steps. As it's written here, we install the, what is this? It's a stabilizer. We have also machine number and booster nozzle here, so quite a lot of stuff to do, especially with the wiring. You can see it will be quite fun, so be ready for that. And all in all, you have to perform 43 steps. This is, I wouldn't call it a complex build, but it's quite sophisticated build, so be ready for that. And as I said before, plan your project, because otherwise you might end up with parts which are tricky to paint. By the way, on the bottom of the box we also have this brochure about some advices on the assembly, but that's nothing serious, I would say. As for the kit, it should be already available in all good model shops. Again, I would like to thank you for the donation which made this review possible. And if you have something to say about this kit, feel free to write here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.